Good evening, guys, and thanks for letting me present tonight via video. I had a lot of fun with this assignment, more so than I assumed I would. Just looking at job descriptions, I really didn't know much about job descriptions in general, but also how they would have an impact. But by looking at two districts, I found a lot of things that I think have a huge impact on what we do as educators and how we can improve as a school district. So tonight I'm going to talk about our assignment on job description analysis, and I looked at two school districts, DeSoto Public Schools as well as Union Public Schools. So to start, I really had three components to my paper. I wanted to first just look at the job descriptions on their websites. How are they listed? Were they easy to find? Then I looked at two specific roles, custodian and elementary school principal. I wanted to compare the two and just see what they were like. And then, of course, looking at the knee evaluation system. So to start, if I just look at their websites, I went to Union's and it was easy to find. In fact, both were easy to find. You go under Human Resources and there's a link for job descriptions. What I really liked about Union's was how it was broken into categories. They had certified and classified, so you could go to whichever link you wanted and be taken directly to those specific job types. I also really liked how they had it broken down by grade levels. It was easy to find certain job types, even if you were unfamiliar on what certified and classified meant. And on DeSoto's site, it was very similar. Under Human Resources, you would find a link for job descriptions, except here, instead of certified and classified, I had 6 umbrella type categories: administration, athletics, instruction. So it really wasn't as easy to find what I was looking for. But what really opened my mind was when I started to dig in deeper to the actual job descriptions. For custodian, Union had keeping building and premises, including sidewalks, driveways, and play areas, neat and clean, a generic description of what you would expect from a custodian. But DeSoto went into much more detail about the relationship side, promoting a positive image of the DeSoto School District, that front face for the building and how important that is. That has a huge impact on what we expect of our custodians. I found the same to be true for our elementary school principals. When looking at the job descriptions, DeSoto had the generic description of being the building manager, instructional leadership, but Union went into much more detail, talking about establishing and maintaining effective relationships with students, serving as a lead learner in the building with an unyielding focus on enhancing student learning, learns and models strategies. It's those key terms that make a difference in these job descriptions of not only our expectations, but how we follow up and refer back to these job descriptions when we're supporting them in their role. Now, on top of this, there's the evaluation piece. And I think in my paper, I described it this way. I think of it like a learning target. In a learning target in our classroom, we establish it, but it shouldn't be forgotten about. We need to refer back to it. How deep are we going with these expectations? And I think it's important as job descriptions that we not only use this in the hiring process, but we refer and refine these as we go through the actual implementation of these jobs in the classroom or throughout the buildings as a custodian, maintenance, whatever the job role may be. We need to really think about the impact that the wording and terms that we use for these job descriptions can have on how we follow up and support and evaluate these roles later down the road. So I was really surprised at what impact job descriptions could have on how we could use them to help support staff and how they can make a difference in what we do, what we expect, and the culture and the mission and vision of our schools. Because it all really goes back to what are we putting down for this role? What is our expectation? And then how do we follow up with that and communicate that to everyone?